Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stat Check episode 157. This episode is titled "No More Space Marines," or "No More Space Marines," or something. No money down. Who knows? Something Simpsons reference. I hope everybody's doing wonderful today. Um,
God damn it!
I was proud of that one. I'm not gonna lie.
It's pretty good.
I hope everybody's doing fine on this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I'm Ennis. I am joined by Nathan and Jeremy. Anthony has decided to commit to doing one of a billion other things that he has to do as one of America's, important Warhammer players. Couldn't be me. We wouldn't want his opinions on Space Marines anyway, so it's probably for the best. We are here to talk about stats, figures. We've got two new Space Marine attachments that we're going to do a bit of a breakdown on, kind of talk about our feelings. I obviously have strong historical attachments to both of these factions, so I'm very ready to chat about my feelings on First Company Task Force Redux. And it's going to be a wonderful day. But before we get into that, we're going to do stats. We're going to talk about how we've been doing, what we're up to in the world of Warhammer, and generally prevaricating for a couple minutes so that you guys can ease in and get to grips with it. Before we do any of that, though, while we do that, Nathan, how you been, my friend?
I've been doing great. Other than learning that an orc is a terrible thing when it only rolls sixes to advance, pins you in your deployment zone, and then beats the crap out of you.
That was my lesson recently too.
No, I played my Vibe Check League match, and I was playing like the circulating AdMech list because I had fun with it the first couple of games, and I learned that if the orc just gets close enough to you, it really doesn't matter what happens because the orc will beat the junk out of you if they roll sixes to advance. It was also probably the most depressing moment for Iron Striders ever as I watched them get 2 wounds across 2 squads of 4, 2 wounds onto a battle wagon, which proceeded to pass both of its saves. And then me just going, that's cool. That battle wagon that is staging all those orcs is great for me and the rest of my life and existence.
Look at Ben pretending he's an orc player.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's great. I have been painting Eldar models and getting ready for doing a GT this fall. I've also been building a bunch of terrain for painting, which has been funny. Yeah, Innes, you and I are going to have the same story of our lives, apparently, of Eldar. Mine are, though, all the way over there in a different room of my apartment, so I'm not going to go run over and grab them. But they're all getting painted in the brightest of goddamn colors because they're all synthwave Eldar this time around. So they are basically dark purple up to white, and they are very bright, nearly fluorescently painted.
They do sound very bright, just like you, Nathan.
I know. Sometimes I like to think so. But when I was playing the nerd detachment, I got my break speed off of me. So I didn't feel very bright when that happened. But that's okay. We lose games to learn how to not lose games in the future.
Yeah, that's absolutely the point of the Vibe Check League, is to let people experiment in a safe environment.
Correct.
I don't know how
next
safe
time, though,
it is, but
very unsafe. Distinctly not safe.
Distinctly unsafe is what I was
not safe for egos, I think, is the
that's fine.
No, that's the best part. How about yourself, Jeremy? How you keeping?
Not too bad. Been hammering about with AdMech again since the most recent changes. Definitely
necessary changes, right?
No, definitely way too far, but also very funny because they're just like, what if we pull on, like, instead of the 1 lever at a time, we pull on 3 levers together?
Every single time I remember what doctrines do, I get like mentally stunned for a second, as I'm like, surely there must be like some restriction in here somewhere.
No, it's hilarious because you're just kind of like, huh. So this has been their army rule, basically all addition. It's been tweaked and it's been updated and whatnot, but like, it's really good. And then when I point to that 1 unit of breachers that has both benefits all the time. And
why is it +1 ballistic skill and heavy?
So you can hit on 2s.
Why is it assault and +1 AP? I don't get the combination.
Well, the +1 AP is the conditional one. It's assault and
real tough condition.
It's assault and +1 weapon skill, which those two don't make any sense together.
I think all 6 of them should require you to be wholly within 6 of battle line. all 6 benefits. Wholly within 6. Suck it.
Damn.
Run some goddamn brain.
I guess I'll just have
right?
to play 120 Katari again.
Fine, do that. At least I'll know what's going on. It's kind of wild, the level of boss dynamics. Like I've had the chance to play against Radzone and Halo Street decent amount since the change. And there's a lot of juice in that army.
Yep.
Certainly, it has to be a bit wet noodly if you catch it at the right times. Watching a sterilizer squad try to kill anything when not near rangers is depressing. But
oh yeah, no, there's definitely some times, or like watching someone who hasn't really quite figured out how to maneuver 12 Cataphren bases around a table before. And you go,
it's not super easy. A lot of it's park in the firing lane, hope your 4-up works.
Yep.
There is definitely an element of that.
Well, yeah, don't sit on any firing lanes longer than 24 and overwatch anything that moves. It's another good solid plan.
Pretty much. Yeah, I played a test game into Knights who was playing Kosaurus Companions, and it was very much that moment of I cannot let you get a single one of these things off or I die horribly. And he got off at least 2 of them, but I had at that point thankfully killed 3 bigs, so we were in an okay spot.
You'd kill 3 bigs, had you? Oh, really difficult for you.
Well, no, by the time the 3 bigs were dead, I also had about 200 points left. It was just that I was on
all
all
in
the
one
objectives.
battle line model.
Yeah, I had like, I think it was like 12 models left, and they were just scattered all over the place, so you couldn't catch up to them.
I will admit, have a really fun time with Call, who is very funny in Melee, as he killed most of a Company of Heroes unit by himself.
He killed the attacks, but also they will do nothing if you rely on it.
Correct. They don't do anything, but it is very funny to watch him melt a Vindicator to death and then charge something and then kill several members of a Company of Heroes unit.
Yeah, his gun is something that you definitely don't want to trifle with.
It's very
three shots with the Knight profile. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's better than the Knight.
It's better than an arm. It's better than a Brigand's profile. Yes.
Yeah, because it's 14, 4, D6, melt to 3 at 18 inches.
Yeah, he's just got.
Oh, and hits on 2s.
He's 3 fire pikes stapled together.
Yeah. Hey, Resvin.
Hey,
I'm just getting ready for we've got a little invitational at the Dragon. Basically, anyone who the top players, both from Generalship and Paint, are duking it out. It's technically a last-minute qualifier too, but it's
something. Why are you there?
Because I inserted myself, and also I attended enough of the events. I was like number 2, anyways.
There you go.
Something quantity
just
over
let
quality.
me make fun of you. It's okay. You don't have to defend yourself.
I'm not defending myself. I know I'm shit.
Christ, Jeremy. All right, you can't make me feel bad now.
It's too easy to make.
Enjoy reminding me of my place in this world, Innes. It's fine.
No, you do that yourself. We're meant to lift you up. But what are you planning on taking this weekend? You still thinking of that mech, or are you YOLOing something else?
So it's down to 3 things. It's either EC with triple prints. Actually, no, it's one of 4 things because the nagging bit in my head of Wrath of the Rock is just
don't do it. It's not worth it. The Lion is bad,
but it's fun.
No, Jeremy, you're prepping for WCW. You need to come on, put some effort.
But yeah, right, fine. Then that one gets out. That one gets taken out, and instead I replace it with your LGT list.
Not a bad shout. Every time I think about putting that list on UK on GW boards, it makes me cringe through my skin. But the idea of being like, oh, we're playing on GW Layout 5, sweeping engagement, Godspeed. I'm just like, I don't want to do that under no circumstances.
We're on 3, Dawn.
Yeah, I'd rather not. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
As cool as I think that list is, and as powerful as I think it is, I think the format of UKTC board specifically allowing you to almost always have a safe deployment spot for the Stormraven is very important to it. And I would be concerned about playing on random YOLO GW boards. If you know you're playing on like Layout 1 and stuff like that, it's going to be fine. It's okay. But if you're like just randoming it, no thank you.
Yeah, which is why the Triple Prince EC is something that I'm more likely to YOLO to, because that one is a bit more board agnostic. Because when Princes just moved 17 inches, you kind of go, wee. And then the last one is my Votan, going back to Need Guard, because I haven't played them in a couple weeks, and it'd be fun to play them again.
So you just want to play the fairest army you possibly can?
That's basically where I'd end up settling back if I go that. AdMech is number 1 right now, but I do have to finish painting a couple models, because apparently I didn't own any of the Skystalkers, just sterilizers. So, or rather, I have 15 magnetized sterilizers. I can't find the Skystalker arms.
Celtic says Hearthguard better than Need Guard. Hot take.
I don't think it's that much of a hot take, but I really like the Hearthguard brick in Needguard more than in Hearthband.
I'm with Celtic. I like the Bastion Shield a lot, and I think 6-inch bond consolidation is just messed up.
Yeah, the
Also, watching 6 Steeljacks get +1 damage is a crime in melee. So
that is very true.
that melee score with +1 damage is not a fun thing to have resolved against you.
Yeah. Oh, Paint Celestine Sisters. I don't have enough of them hobbied up to do it. And I've learned from last year what happens if I decide to play Sisters like a month out without having the list ready.
Play the thing you know works, right? Like play the thing that.
Well, and it's also just like
you tested.
I spent more time painting than I did practicing for WCW last year, and it definitely had an impact. It's not an event that you can kind of just YOLO into.
Personally, I feel like it's Triple Prince, Emperor's Children, because it's more terrain agnostic, like was said just kind of a minute ago. Just because it's a little better.
It's also just like pure gas.
It is. I've been watching Bruce play a few games of it recently and just being like, wow, that's just rude. Like just cutting that Tormentor score and just be like, holding objectives is for losers and idiots. What if I just straight up rammed 3 princes, triple infractors, triple noise marines, and a Lucius? It's not gonna believe it all fits in 2,000 points, but
yeah, you can run triple prince, triple Lord, Lucius. I think you get Fit Lucius in there.
You get Lucius, yeah.
Yeah, and then triple infractor, single tormentor, double rhino, triple noise marine.
Yep.
No enhancements,
Yeah.
but you need enhancements when you just
still
have
get the
that much
Caco.
murder.
You just have to cut the enhancements in the Tormentor.
I don't think you get the Caco, actually. Give me a second.
Maybe I'm going mad. I feel like Bruce was playing the Caco, but he might have also just been cheating.
He may have also tweaked it slightly.
I choose to believe it's probably him cheating.
Talking with a friend of mine actually just the other day about it. Where is that chat? Anyways, but yeah, no, they're.
So, what's the benefit for you of Triple Prince over sort of like the more traditional, like the version that Boris played for LGT with like the infractors and the torment or the tormentors and
Boris
the
is actually saying
Boris said he said it was shit. Yeah, I know, but
he's
why?
also saying he would go to the Triple Prince build right now, anyways.
Sure.
After
but tell us why.
I mean, it's the most amount of stuff that you can shove in a list. Well, I mean, princes are really expensive, so you could probably fit more stuff if you took them out. But princes are just really reliable and durable damage dealers. And if you can have a prince left when you're sitting at 5 pledge points, that thing will kill almost anything.
Yeah, anything that's got less than 18 wounds, it'll kill pretty much.
Yeah,
or like 16 wounds. 16 wounds to up save is like.
And if for some reason you hit 7,
then
then it will kill that too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's just it's basically let's just take all of the good stuff that I can have, and we go from there.
Yeah, you're just playing movement 14 -1 damage. Is -1 damage a good rule, Jeremy? Do you think?
-1 damage is a fine roll, but it needs to be reined in. It's too prevalent right now. It tends to invalidate a lot of 2 damage armies. Like
hilariously, it doesn't even feel that prevalent right now. It just feels like everything that's got it's insane.
But is it because, like, this is the thing, is like everything that has it, is it just really good because we're in a meta where there's a lot of 2 damage out there?
Yeah, that's fair.
So Pate Celestine deleting 2 winged princes with retributors was a very satisfying experience. Yeah, that sounds not good for the winged prince.
Yeah.
Watching a prince fail in vulnerable saves is just like one of those things that I dream about because I've never seen it before. So
yeah.
Watching having my Redemptor just like clip the angle on one and being like, oh, and then it just failed 3 saves. I was like, oh my god, this is the best day of my life. It just took 6 damage from nothing. Truly, the thing dreams are made of. As for myself, where have I been at? Well, I've got a Malmo Wargaming weekend this weekend, so I'm off to Sweden. I'll be visiting for a few days. So I decided, in the end, my team for Battle of Britain wants me on Eldar, so I decided to just take Eldar to Sweden so that I could make sure that I had some reps on it, and also give me a reason to paint all my Eldar stuff. So that's why I've showed off the Cavalcade Eldar stuff. I'm playing a pretty standard aspect host list. I think pretty standard. I'm playing a bit of a divergence list. I'm playing 5 Phoenix Lords, everybody but Maugan Ra. Conveniently, the only one I don't own. And then like all of their buddies to go with them. A Wave Serp, so that's Jane with 5 Fire Dragon, Jane with 5 Howling Banshees, Baharoth with 5 Hawks, Lycus with 5 Horse Spiders, Fuegan with 10 Fire Dragons, and Asman with 5 Dire Avengers. I've got a Falcon and a Wave Serpent. I've got 1 squad of Void Reavers, 3 squads of Rangers, 2 more squads of Swooping Hawks, and 2 more squads of War Spiders to go along with that. That's sort of like the general principle. I am really enjoying the sort of like reactive movie bullshit play pattern right now, having just played Stormlance, and like it's kind of feeling like one of the better ways to engage with the metagame right now is to just have a thing with a reactive move stand on the middle objective, force them to come out, and then uninteractively kill the thing that came at you. So doing that with Stormlance, and then shooting them with Redemptive Dreadnoughts that my opponent couldn't really kill, doing it with Azumin and the Fire Fading Fire Dragons, with like Rangers to just be like, you must engage with this Ranger squad, and then you lose the interaction point, blah, 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 try to scam primary that way. This felt like a pretty good way to approach the metagame, so I'm trying the triple Rangers to give me more ability to do that, because it seemed like fun. Not sure, again, like, I'm kind of enjoying the ability for this metagame to flex between a bunch of different things and, try a bunch of stuff. So obviously I've played, in this metagame now, I've played an event with Grey Knights, an event with Space Rangers, an event with World Eaters. So we're now just adding another one with some Eldar, and then we'll see what happens as we go into the Worlds season after that, because Worlds is like 3 weeks away. Chaotic.
Something like that. Yeah, it's soon. Sooner than you think.
Yeah, I should really book flights. Anyway.
Yes, you should book flights in it.
Last minute flight deals are always fine.
Yeah, sure. Definitely just fine. Of course.
I don't know.
I'm currently like
traveling to the United States these days.
It'll be
true.
Right. It was actually fairly cheap from London, so I'm probably going to go via London and just figure out how to get to London, which is why I've not booked it yet. Because it was like it saved me like £500 to go via London, so as long as I can get to London for less than £500, it seems beneficial. So, which
can we get
shouldn't be that hard. Unless there's an event real soon that's real chill about bad players getting tickets.
Oh, ouch!
Hey, Nathan, you want to come up to Ottawa this weekend?
Ow!
No, we're giving a ticket out to the best general as well as the best painted. However, like 3/4 of the field already has either declined attendance or is going already.
No, that's not going to happen.
You're in Ottawa and you really want a golden ticket. There is probably one available at red-dragon.ca.
Oh my gosh. You could get Nathan to go to Atlanta, probably, is what would happen. I think that is the extent to which I would appear at Worlds, is appearing in Atlanta.
For sure.
See, that we can probably figure out.
Outside of that,
yes.
For Warhammer, for me, I played 7 games of Tyranids this week.
7 games? That's a lot of Tyranids. That's a lot of bugs.
Did a lot of Tyranids. I was like really committed to the idea that if I could find something that I really liked, I would take them to either Sweden or Battle of Britain. Maybe both. And I could not. That's the kind of like the broad summation. So I played 4 games with Ryan Verbeck Synaptic Nexus list from Challengers Cup, which is the double Norn 25 Ravener list, which is super cool, really engaging. Definitely felt very fair. I played a couple of like really rough games into Emperor's Children, a tough game into something else. Forgive me. Black Temple, Dark Angels Vanguard. I got charged to death by the lion that I couldn't interact with. And yeah, like Emperor's Children just like snorted a line of cocaine and then killed 2 Norns, and then 25 Raveners died like butter. But I was able to like scam a 10-10 with the Soul Throat Break just refusing to be made a charge into. I think Bruce felt like 6 or 7 ridiculous charges into him, all of which like the first thing would get Overwatch to death, the second thing would fail the charge, and then they just do it again until eventually his last Rhino to get him the win failed his Battleship test and died to Smothering Shadow to get me bring it down points. Just amazing. Really really great hours. I held to bring it down into his turn to being like, that Rhino's on 2 wounds, it'll fail its Battleship test, I'll kill it and we'll draw. And it absolutely did, which is great fun. I loved having access to Smothering Shadow again. Nexus still feels like a really fun detachment. Norns, they're still just too fragile for me. I bought my second one, I built it. She'll get painted when she's good. It's kind of where I'm feeling. And then I played 3 games with the Eric Lathros's Invasion Fleet list from Challengers Cup, which is so I just stole the 2 Challengers Cup lists that I'd seen that done really well for NIDS, and was like, okay, cool, they're clearly working in the team environment, let's see what's going on, which is the 80 Termagants, 50 Hormagaunts, and then a bunch of support pieces for those. And it's super fun to play. I really enjoyed it. I proxied up a bunch of my Fleshborer ones because we're still working on the Great Spine Fist project. Played a game into Double Gatling Chaos Knights, which was, do you know, I killed 4 models that game. Oh, sorry, 7 models. I killed 3 Nurglings and 4 dogs. Did not put any damage on those big knights that was not from them failing packed tests. But got a 12-8. I got a solid 10-10 into Black Templars, just eventually nickel and dime the rep X is down, but good God, did I get activated at a lot that game. I missed not having the Feel No Pain enhancement, and I don't like Maliceptors very much right now, was my long and short take on that. As good as they are for the defensive purposes. Yes, James, what you're hearing is Eric is a coward and won't play Eric's list. I did not feel like speed painting 80 Spine Gaunts that I don't own yet. We're working on it, as I said, but like just the concept of playing that list on short notice and then also doing it when I'm going, my sister's coming with me to Sweden. We're going to go and have a bit of a, spend some time in Copenhagen and Malmo. So I didn't want to be like completely burned out from playing a Horde list the entire time as well. So Eldar seemed like better fun. I'll play, 20 minutes of Warhammer. So that's where my 4K has been at this week. Played a few other things on top of that. I really want to try some of these new Space Marine things. So that's on my short list when I get back. Potentially back from Battle of Britain, depending on how busy my next week is. But yeah, it's been exciting times. I'm enjoying playing Warhammer a lot right now. I feel like the game's in as depressing as it is for a couple of things state, like specifically, God, how much I wish Gene Stealer Cult Host Essentially was still good. I could not, God, if I could play my current host list in this metagame, or my old host list in this metagame, God, it'd be so good. We burned it too brightly. We should have hidden under the radar just 1% more.
You had to burn just a slight little bit less bright, yeah.
The other detachments are making up for that.
Stormraven plus 3 Redemptors and Ultraman's Goddess with 3 Death Sense on it. Felt awfully great. Hell yeah. Three Redemptors inside a Redemptor and 3 Death Sense inside the Stormraven sounds goddamn hilarious, and I love it. Hell yeah, Alejandro. I'm glad it worked out for you. Feeling Xenocreed. Eric did message me to ask about Xenocreed, so I should probably respond to that message at some point. God, it's been a week.
And Final Day both did really well the last 2 weeks. So
Let's segue grandly then into stats.
Sure.
Take it away, Mr. Stats guys.
All right. So we have 21 events again this week, that's a lot of events. Historically, that is way more events than we used to get, but it's approaching it is still above average, but it's approaching the average of events that we have that we track each week for 21 events at a time. Performance is interesting because we just talked about how Gene Stealer Colts were burning too bright. There were 14 Gene Stealer Colts players making up 1.5% of the meta who got a 61% win rate, 2 top 4s, 5 top 10s, and a 1.54 over rep. So somebody is doing something somewhere, somehow with Gene Stealer Colts still. In second place is Adeptus Mechanicus with 28 players, 3.1% of the meta, a 56.5% win rate, 1 event win, 2 top 4s, and then 11 top 10s, which is a lot of top 10s for a 0.77 over rep. So nothing too crazy coming out of AdMech, even though they're doing really well, and are only just kind of slightly above the normal win rate window that we have. In third place is Tyranids with 35 players, 3.9% of the meta, a 54.9% win rate, 1 event win, 5 top 4s, 10 top 10s, and a 1.54 over rep, which honestly is the most surprising thing of this weekend.
Someone was recently, I don't remember what channel I saw it in, but someone was talking about needing buffs for Tyranids, and I just kind of started chuckling because I had just finished updating this, and I went, do they though?
I'm allowed to say I think Tyranids need buffs, because I think they do, but
I think Tyranids could use some redistribution of power in that book a little bit. And
see, now that I would agree with.
Do more interesting.
Because there are 5 interesting data sheets in that book right now?
Yep. No, there's one. It's Hyperrafs.
There you go.
It's not in the book. It's in the
might just be one.
They're not in the book. Yeah.
No, actually, shout out to Anthony who went 5-1 and came second to his GT. He did really go with a very traditional invasion fleet list. So well done to him.
Black Templars are in fourth. They had 34 players, 3.8% of the meta, a 54.4% win rate. They had an event win, 6 top 4s, 9 top 10s, and a 1.9 over rep, which is good.
Pretty good.
That's amazing. That is, in fact, probably too good somewhere in there. This is why overrep is there to help balance out some stuff, because looking at win rates and event wins, you'd probably think they were approaching too much, but that overrep almost 2 is kind of crazy. That's kind of nonsense. That's okay. I'm sure something will get touched inevitably in that. In 5th is
just make rep X's like 30 points more.
maybe they should reroll hits only in melee or when they're within 12 inches. Sorry.
It should be BS4 like BS4 like Forge Fiends.
Make all their guns rapid fire on all their stuff, and they hit on 4s instead or something.
Why would
I do not
be
need to get shot by a fucking rapid fire las talon thing.
Yeah, it'll hit on 4s. They'll lose heavy on all their stuff, so they won't have heavy. They'll just get rapid fire instead. It'll be fine, Jeremy.
I forgot how obnoxious it is to just like have rep X's activate at you 10 times a game because they shoot and Overwatch everything. You're just like, God, it's so bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, I get that you can't have a melee army that just doesn't shoot, right? Like they have to be good at it, but do they also have
not
to
necessarily true?
It kind of is for Space Marine profiles, right? You can't make a Space Marine as fast as a Corn Berserker. It's just not feasible.
I think the thing that would feel right would be a friendly Black Templar unit within 12, visible to them, and is also the closest eligible for those full
I think
rolls.
Making it Black Templars and making it shooting phase locked would probably be enough.
Yeah, if you made it shooting phase locked,
Black Templars wouldn't really change much, would it?
It would stop it triggering off like the Combi Lieutenant and JPIs and stuff like that, right? Like, it's not nothing, right?
I think you just do it so that it's only during your shooting phase, and then the Overwatch stuff goes away, and then they're just activating normally at you.
Yeah, then they're activating 4 or 5 times instead of 10 times.
Just like losing 10 guys on Overwatch every time you walk near one is kind of fucking annoying. But
yeah,
this is true.
Like, I also appreciate that the army is not super CP flush, and it's not a thing you get to just do trivially against melee armies. But
all right. Grey Knights are in 5th place, 19 players, 2.1% of the meta, a 53.6% win rate, no event wins, a single top 4, 7 top 10s, and a 0.57 overrep. I wouldn't say that Grey Knights are doing good.
3-2 Kings. Let's go, Grey Knights.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, if you are looking for the best army in the game to get you off the ground, competitive player, Grey Knights are the 3-2 Kings. If you want to go 3-2 with the consistency that no man before you has ever seen and never will see again, Grey Knights will win you most of your games.
On the other end of things, we have four factions that are essentially outside the 45% window. Thousand Suns are the worst performing faction of the weekend. 10 players, 1.1% of the meta, 41.5% win rate. A single top 4, a single top 10, which gives them a 1.08 for overrep. So their win rate's not doing great, but in expert hands, still doing okay. Deathwatch are next. 7 player numbers, say meta representation, but a 42% win rate. No placements whatsoever, giving them a 0. And then Astra Militarum are third from the bottom. 38 players, 4.2% of the meta, a 42.2% win rate. They have 2 event wins, 3 top 4s, and 8 top 10s for a 0.85 overrep. I think maybe
people did Recon jump in play rate this week?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, there you go.
Can we blame the Nemo effect?
Maybe.
Sure.
All right.
I don't know if it was the...
We'll just break this down real quick.
Yes.
So the week before, which was LVO, Recon made up. There were basically 2 Recon players, maybe 3, for a combined 16, 7, and 1. Which, if you take out Nemo's 10-0 or 9-0-1, then that's 5 and 7. So a losing win rate. Yeah. So there's 3 players who were playing them. Out of, I want to say, probably about 50 guard players. So like almost no one. And then if you look at this past weekend, oh no, actually people just weren't playing Recon at all.
Yeah, Juicy said in the chat that there was only 2 of them and they both went 0-X. So
3 and 9 overall for the 2.
3 and 9. Hell yeah.
Both apparently people forgot how to play Hammer because it looks like there were...
That's because Hammer's just bad, bro.
Looks like there were 8 people who played Hammer and they had a 33% win rate.
Good for them. You know what? Those guys are making broom broom noises with their Basilisk and their Manicores, and I'm glad that it's attachment for those guys.
Yeah.
The army is
Recon was actually the worst performing detachment for...
That doesn't seem surprising. I think I said this on the show last week. You are not Nemo. Stop trying to be Nemo.
Go watch the interview with him, and you'll understand how he got.
You
to where
should
he is
need a
today.
certificate to be allowed to play over 100 models. I think you should have to like have a proven you're allowed from your doctor that you can play it in a timely manner.
Juicy, we don't do individual detachment over-ups, but yes, you're very cute. It's still 0.
I clearly
Juicy, I think Juicy
Militarum-
finished like I think Juicy. I think their one of their wins was actually Bridgehead. So, who brought it specifically to beat?
Yes, the Bridgehead guy that beat the Shadowmark guy in the finals. Yeah, I heard about that one.
I will just say, I think Astra Militarum are fine. People need to stop clamoring for buffs for that faction. This is why we don't just track win rate. If we just
we should buff the next faction though.
We track what Nos is playing. More
Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights are having a bad day. 35 players, 3.9% of the meta, a 44.2% win rate, a top 4 top 10s for a 0.3 overrep. All of that is a bad day, Jeremy. What are you talking about?
Like, I think Imperial Knights are basically right where they should be. Bottom end of viable.
That seems fine.
I mean, maybe that would be okay in a world where Chaos Knights met them on that same playing field.
And look, we can talk about nerfs for Chaos Knights as much as you want, buddy.
I kind of like that idea a lot. Let's talk about what we can do to nerf Chaos Knights.
No, we have one more faction.
Can we box lock the goddamn despoiler, please?
We could do that. I think that's actually just smart. But I will say, 5th from the bottom is Death Guard. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Well, I saw Disgustingly Resilient put a video out today about should we get were the nerfs too much, and it's hurt my soul a little bit.
They're not. They're actually appropriate. They're fine. They won an event. They got 3 top 4s. They got 12 top 10s for a 0.5 overrep, but they did have a 46.2% win rate, so they were just kind of in respectable territory.
Oh no,
I don't think you need to undo
territory.
They are in respectable territory. It's true.
Spearhead is genuinely pretty solid. The 8-2 build seems pretty solid. Adam Camilleri style with he's playing what was it? Warden, Defender 4-4, and then a Minister and Priest. Seems solid. Ignore mods on the Defender or ignore mods on the Defender, reroll ones on the Warden. It seemed pretty good.
Yeah. And now for the factions that want. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jimmy.
No, go ahead. It was basically what I was thinking of running when we were reviewing the codex, because it's just solid. But I will agree that Pain Celestine pointed out playing versus new Raven card is terrifying for both flavor of Knights, especially Imperial Knights, where you don't even have the ability to have stealth.
Yep. All right. Now we have the rest of the event winners. Just real quick, Blood Angels won an event with a 46.3% win rate.
Lad Centurions, by the way. Chris Irvine is salivating.
So funny, and I love it. World Leaders won an event, had 4 top 4s, 12 top 10s for 0.65. They had a 48.6% win rate. Space Marines won 2 events, had 9 top 4s, 19 top 10s for a 1.45 overrep. Space Marines above a 1 overrep. What is that? Oh my. Just generic Space Marines doing well.
Boys, we out there winning. I hope it's Redemptor Store Raven list. I saw that one of them won a GT last week, which was awesome. Like point for point my list. So
I will say World Leaders are 0.1% meta representation off of just generic Codex Space Marines and meta representation, which is a lot. That is a lot of berserkers.
One player.
And then Eldari, 47 players, 5.2% of the meta, 1 event win, 3 top 4s, 11 top 10s for a 0.69 overrep.
Eldar players will tell you that it's fine.
It's probably fine. I don't know.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Probably fine, but also always looking at them after the first 2
Please,
weeks.
dear God, nerf Skyborn Sanctuary.
They're not going to.
It's
if
fine.
They stay
It's
at this
fine,
rate.
guys. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's all okay.
Tau Empire won the most events of the weekend with a 50% win rate. They got 3 event wins, 8 top 4s, 13 top 10s for a 1.83 overrep. Tau might be good. I'm just going to put that out there.
That's 2 weeks in a row where they've had above 1.5 overrep.
They may, in fact, be too good.
So what's too good about Tau? Because I think this is an interesting topic. What are we worried about in Tau, looking at the army and
just
the
got
performance?
too much stuff. Because the most recent buff, they got a whole bunch of point cuts on all of their suits.
Yeah,
because nothing fundamentally changed with them, because the big rewrite for them happened back in June, where they rewrote the guide mechanic, which was a very good change.
You did give the Riptide the plus strength this patch.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I actually don't think that makes that big of a difference. It is impactful, don't get me wrong, but it's also one of these things where usually when that thing was shooting at something, it was very dead anyways. but they just have too much stuff now. Like you can fit so many units in that list now, in that army now.
Yeah, I think the Riptide change is bigger than you're giving it credit for. The Riptide being able to like actually play the game like through after the Dev Doctrine turn. Like the biggest thing with the Riptide is the Riptide usually just like lives the entire game. It's
Yeah,
just like
that's
it
fair.
can activate
It
5
does
times
refuse to
the
die.
sheet. Just giving it like an extra wound every turn over the course of means that it just does an extra tank of damage now across the activations.
Fair.
And I think that is
So what
significantly
you're saying
reliable.
is we should nerf it back and buff the Gatling instead because no one seems to own.
They definitely
Gatling
should have
Riptide.
buffed the Gatling instead. But I think the Echelons is that the Riptide is just like significantly too cheap. But
I do think it's also worth noting that the Riptides became considerably better at breaking open transport so that other things could kill the contents.
That's
and just like
that's
we're
very true. Most
continually
transports
in a
are in the
vehicle
like
medic.
T8 to T9 range. So
Yeah, when
Well,
you,
also
when you
just
go
like-
to wounding everything in that bracket on 3s, essentially, you get a lot more efficiency out of that unit.
They're
just
also,
blowing a
to
transport in half.
contextually, they're the perfect profile for killing Shadowmark Talon Centurions. They're the perfect profile for killing EC Princes, right? Like a lot of the things that are, they're amazing at killing Hollow Screed, Cataphrons, right? All this stuff that we were kind of thinking about, like being generally more important. Very good at killing Armigers in Knights and Chaos Knights, right? A lot of things that are suddenly very important.
they've got considerably better at killing them in CK, especially being able to just ignore mods is massive into that army.
Yeah, exactly. And damage 4 is a hell of a profile.
Yep.
So yeah,
I would say that army is just a little too cheap, and the strength change was probably unnecessary. You could probably undo one of those things and probably get Tau back.
I don't think. Can we also just like moratorium in the game on things having stealth and or scout and infiltrate? God, even fucking Space Marine scouts don't need it. Ghost Skills shouldn't get it. Or sorry, Pathfinder shouldn't get it. Like every single time someone's got scout and infiltrate, it's just the most fucking annoying shit.
Yeah, I kind of think of the same thing with anything that has infiltrate and redeploy. Like you shouldn't be able to redeploy things that infiltrated.
Or scout and advance and charge, or just why does everything just the game starts too soon. Turn 1 just being the game is happening is too soon, guys.
Yeah.
But Innes, we only have 5 turns to do it. There's no way we could possibly fix that.
Too much stuff crosses no man's land trivially. I was chatting to a client today and he was like, "Yeah, my opponent had like a little too much stuff in reserve, so I just turn 1 charged it with my entire Blood Angels army." And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on, guys? Why is this a thing that you get to do?"
It's fair. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Necrons won 2 events, so I will finally no longer field complaints from folks about it.
I've not been fielding complaints with Necron players for 16 years.
Yeah,
I will not start now.
They had an above 50% win rate. They had 2 event wins, 5 top 4s, 8 top 10s, and a 1.63 overrep. You're doing too well. Stop. Get out of here.
Yeah, I can smell the bug. I can smell the
next up.
Smell the wraith point reduction coming.
No, please no. Dark Angels are next for event winners. There were 30.
It's on the wind.
They had a 51.1% win rate. They had an event win, 3 top 4s, 10 top 10s, and a 1.08 overrep. Dark Angels are fine. They don't need any changes. Don't worry about it.
Make the line cheaper again.
No. Orcs had 43 players, 4.8% of the meta. Honestly, the Orc meta representation has recovered so astoundingly much over the last few weeks that it's kind of nice to see. 51.8% win rate, 2 event wins, 3 top 4s, 8 top 10s, and a 0.75 overrep. Orcs are probably doing just fine now. Then our last event winner is Space Wolves, 29 players, 51.9% win rate, 1 event win, 3 top 4s, 7 top 10s, and a 1.11 overrep. Probably actually just fine. We'll see how that bears out, I guess.
Like the meta as a whole right now seems to be just that, quite fine.
It's pretty fine. There's a lot of I think it's a lot of individual lists kind of being problems now, right? Like a bunch of stuff that's too cheap.
But like if you look at the last 2 weeks in aggregate, there is 1 army above the 55, and there is 4 real armies below the 45.
Yeah, I discounted Imperial Agents when I was
never count
this weekend. Yeah, I would also discount Drukhari, who have a book incoming. So really, you just have 3, right? Imperial Knights, Astra Militarm, and Emperor's Children. And the Drukhari Codex may change their position. We'll kind of see
the
how
idea
that falls,
of Imperial Guard and Emperor's Children being underpowered right now also makes me a little bit sick to my stomach.
Yeah. And arguably, Astra Militarm, if you don't sort by win rate, which is what you shouldn't do, have 3 event wins, 8 top 4s, and 17 top 10s, and a 1.14 overrep. They're okay.
Yeah, like if you, it's
You're
actually really
doing
funny. If
just
you sort
fine.
by over rep, sisters over the last 2 weeks are actually the best army in the game.
Correct. With no event wins though, just 9 tough.
They had a lot of 5-0s
54% win
apparently
rate.
that didn't win their events
Yeah.
because of tiebreakers, but they have a 2.09 over rep.
So
over the
what
last
I'm
2
hearing,
weeks.
Sister Players, is that you guys need to learn to close.
Yeah, I will
Just saying.
say Tau are the second most event winning faction at the moment, and the second most overrepped faction, and are above 50% in win rate. Like with a 4.5% meta representation, they have 5 event wins, 13 top 4s, 25 top 10s, and a 1.7 overrep. They may just be too good, folks. I'm sorry, Tau players. You may just need to suffer a few nerfs.
Tau were on the short list for me taking to Sweden. They were one of the armies I was like, I could borrow this army pretty trivially, but I decided I didn't want to learn an army on the fly in a week. So
Also, Marines being in the top 3 right now in terms of over rep and event and having the most event wins.
So did you guys watch Nick's video?
No, I
I
saw
watched the
clickbait
first 10
title and I
seconds
couldn't
and I
click
immediately
it.
went,
Sorry,
Nick,
bud.
you play Gene Stealer Cult and Eldari. Shut the fuck up and go away.
I did enjoy Nick just being like, Space Marines are so uninteractive and they do too much stuff and they have too many options. And I'm like, yeah, this is all probably true, but it has been very funny getting just like a new like equal attention data sheet detachment every couple weeks for
Well,
Space
that's what
Marines.
I'm talking about with the show. It's
Yeah.
basically Space Marines getting Codex 2.0 without the Codex actually ever coming out.
It's
Yep.
true. It's
It's
definitely
just-
better this way.
It is better for your wallet compared to models.
I don't know. There is that feeling of, we didn't get detachments for like the 3 like slate detachments this time around because they said they didn't have time for it, but they definitely had enough time to put out however many bespoke Marine detachments.
Don't even get me started on the frickin'
I want my
nonsense
I
of
want my
legendsing
guys.
a bunch of Drukhari units. But no, we're going to get a head upgrade and Ultramarines upgrades through new characters for a bunch of different nonsense.
That
You're
Nick,
gonna
this is
eliminate
not you
one-
on the Art of War 40k
one
account
of
because you
4
have been
covens.
smashing it lately.
I think it's really important to say, as a Space Marine player and as a player of many other armies, that box is going to sell enough to justify the Votan range existing as a passion project. So
Sure. I don't disagree that like Space Marines sell really well. It's just very frustrating when you play a faction, watch a bunch of the data sheets get sent to Legends, and then immediately after, like Space Marines get like 7 new kits, and you're like, you couldn't have spent like a day resculpting grotesques. Like, please.
have
Come
you
on, guys.
considered
the problem.
Kill Team might already have dibs?
God damn it. The okay, let's get it. That's not true. The Ultramarine upgrade sprue will not outsell the entire Drukhari range.
You do not. I would
Probably
not
not.
take that bet.
I wouldn't take that bet either.
I would take the bet that it won't outsell the whole Drukhari range. It probably will outsell.
Well, the
I think
Drukhari range is
it'll outsell every
25%
individual
smaller
data
now,
sheet
so
by a factor.
True,
of
that
2.
is true. It is frustrating though. I will say, as somebody who plays mostly non-marine factions.
Well, as somebody who had to play against Urian Rackart, that wasn't very frustrating at all for me. So.
Yes. the worst part is what Paint Celestine points out is that if you look at the
Yeah.
Legends data sheets for all of the Legends models,
that grotesque data sheet.
crazy.
What the hell?
They're so good. And it's very funny that they perhaps gave all of the power attention to this one Drukhari book.
Good.
They were like, what if we made a bunch of Legends stuff just super cool, guys, and then walked away from it?
Okay. Do we want to segue into talking
Yes,
about
please
the new Marine stuff? Now, we don't have the full official releases of these yet. We're still waiting. I assume they'll come out either next week or the week after with the actual release when they go in the app, blah, blah, blah. But we do have the Goonhammer review, the Art of War review. So let's have a chat about it. We'll not do Art of War review. We'll talk about them a bit when we get them. But broadly, let's start at the beginning. I cannot be varshed. Let's talk about Iron Hands. So
I
Yeah,
want to first
thank
preface this by saying the moment it dropped in the Goonhammer previews that this was a first company upgrade,
so many
I
people
laughed
messaged me.
so long and so hard. I spent a solid 5 minutes just cackling in my bedroom reading the review the whole time. It was great. It was amazing. I love it.
I mean, he's a
It made
Terminator.
me
What do you
so happy.
expect?
so many people messaged me to be like,
It was funny.
it's not Iron
It
Storm,
makes me
bro. And I was just sat there crying, like, fucking, it's the worst day of my fucking life. I wanted to be Iron Storm so bad, bro. I was so ready. I was sitting there, like, getting ready, like, planning my Iron Hands tattoo for after I won Worlds and everything. And then I woke up. I woke up. It was like 9:59. Alarm that I've got set goes. Get on the pre-orders. I get on the store. I buy the new box. I buy the White Scar character. I buy the Iron Hands character, and then I go and read the rules. I'm like, it's fucking shit.
But you still ordered them.
I'd already bought it, and I wasn't going to cancel it. So, let's talk a little bit. Let's start with Iron Hands because it's I think the less interesting. I do think it is not terrible, but
This doesn't seem bad.
so basically, Var is a Terminator character. He's got 6 attacks at 5 attacks at 8
It's
to in
5
combat,
attacks.
or 10 attacks at damage 1. His unit gets lethal hits against vehicles and monsters and sustained against everything else. He gives a unit Scout 6, and then you can redeploy 1 unit, and then that's basically it. He seems okay. Scout 6 is a cool rule. The fact that it's during the deploy battle formation step means that it does work, I believe, on units and transports, which is kind of fun. Because you can chuck it on like a real unit in an impulsor and do a little bit more with it rather than having to start in curses in it, which I think could be interesting. Maybe theoretically you could do it to actually get a Rhino up the board in Chaos in Imperium, which would be kind of interesting. But joining Terminators is depressing. Maybe when the new Assault Intercessor box comes out, they redo that data sheet. That's all I can. That's what I'm living for right now. Because if they do that, if Assault Intercessors get a real data sheet that doesn't have data sheet rule make you take a battle shock test, I'm gonna have a relook at this one because I think
It'll be on a
there's genuinely
5+. Your opponent takes a mortal wound anywhere on the board.
That seems like a terrible rule that we should like. Let's go for I believe. Let's just give them -1 damage as well. Let's make them Deathwing Knights. They come in squads of 10. And let them hit on 3s.
No.
Or like a 5-up field painting. It's damage 1 and 2 attacks. Just something. Let me play them. If they get a real data sheet in that, I think this attachment becomes a lot more.
We can have the heavy intercessor rule.
Yeah, +1 save against damage 1. Just give them always on armor contempt.
It'd probably be fine.
I think there's some space for a real Assault Terminator rule. Now that they've got that, I think this is a character that would benefit strongly from that. But until then, I think there's a lot of room to play with here. Now, the detachment itself is another First Company analog, which again is utterly heartbreaking. The detachment rule is you get reroll to 1s to wound against your moment target, which does put a bunch of rules on roll at the moment. It's now +1 to wound, reroll 1s to wound, and reroll all hit rolls, which is just kind of hilariously excessive. Like that guy, see that guy, all of the bottom.
Yeah, you're real dead.
I didn't say to use some of our firepower. I asked for all of your firepower.
Yeah. And you do get double oath if you have Canuck on the battlefield.
And Canuck does give you double, and it is the best possible version of double oath. Sorry, no,
Yeah,
it's not quite as good as the Deathwatch version, but it is better than Guilliman's version.
Yeah, because you choose it after you destroy your target,
Yes,
so you can
when
very
you
much
destroy.
see where things are at.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where the Deathwatch one is just have 2, which sick, but this version is also pretty strong.
Well, yeah, the Deathwatch one's also only once per game, whereas his is once per battle round. Exactly. You can do it.
It's real good. I think you will he's an auto take if you were playing this detachment. Enhancements, you've got the standard, a bunch of the standard First Company stuff, which is that it's a once per game thing with a static effect. So it's +1 attack to the unit once per game, +1 OC, +1 OC to the unit once per game, a shitty battle shock one, and then the actually interesting one, which is make your Terminator Ancient and Apothecary. The world that you can put 10 Terminator, that you put a sort of 10 Terminators with an Apothecary. Like if that data sheet ever does goddamn anything, just anything at all, that suddenly becomes a lot more interesting. Right now, it's like a 500
double attached Terminators, right?
Yeah, you can double attach Ancients a lot, so you should be able to. You could attach Ancient and Var to the unit, and if the data sheet did anything at that point, that'd be kind of interesting. Like I could see a world where, if it wasn't for the fact that Lightning Claws suck, like a squad of 10 of them with Lightning Claws, all with lethal hits or sustained hits from Canuck, like it could genuinely be kind of interesting. It's just not because they're so expensive for so little damage. Why do they hit on 3s, bro? Why do they have 3? Why do they have like 3 and 5 attacks?
They hit on 4s with their hammers right now.
Yeah, 4s with the hammers. It's genuinely heartbreaking.
It is.
Stratagems,
Honestly,
you've got. Sorry,
the
go for it.
Medusan Roar enhancement is still pretty funny. Yes, it's Battleshock linked and whatnot, but it is
Oh yeah.
absolutely hilarious for someone to fill a Battleshock. Just go, bye-bye.
Oh no, 100%. Watching Marius in his Victrix Guard fail a Battleship test near this guy is just like.
Roll a 3, that squad's just gone.
Yep.
It's the same thing as like the Canker Blight on the Sulfate Ballpiper, right?
Yep.
Whenever you're just like, oh, this is just gonna suck for you, right?
But then there's
obviously
entire
it's a
armies it does nothing into, so.
Yeah, I've seen it alongside like Dante in Blood Angels in the actual first company as like a meme list of like make you fail a morale check, and like Dante makes you take a bunch of extra ones, which is kind of funny. What's the big? I think the biggest thing I've ever seen die to the Canker Blight is Gaz, which glorious. Okay, stratagems. We've got Armoric Attempt. We've got +1 to hit and +1 to wound if you're below starting strength for Death Watch, for Dreadnought, Terminator, or Veteran units. The fact that a bunch of these got updated to work on Dreadnoughts does genuinely kind of appeal to me. Like it's definitely the bit of this detachment that is the nicest compared to First Company, which is only Terminator and Veteran. You've got and the +1 to wound, hilariously, as the Goonhammer article calls it, working off of Hazardous is kind of funny. In your fight phase, you can give a Terminator, Veteran, Dreadnought unit sustained hits or lethal hits on melee attacks. Not being able to use it in your opponent's turn is kind of sad, but like fine, whatever. It's an offensive
It's
strategy.
odd to see like a rule that only works in like especially an output based one that only works in your fight phase. But I imagine with this detachment, you're probably controlling those fights fairly carefully anyway.
I think the idea is that it's meant to be like when you charge, right? Like that's kind of the idea. But okay, you've got 1 CP movement phase sticky, which is kind of cool. Being able to use that on Dreadnoughts is kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's definitely the part of it that made me go, I like that. I like that a lot, and it's one of the things that makes you want to come back to detachment. You've got -1 damage after being charged for Terminator or Veteran. Definitely one of those things that makes me look at it and go, oh, and those Assault Terminators, man, it wouldn't take much for this to be kind of cool. It's still not, but it wouldn't take much.
And then the last one CP though as well, which is kind of nice.
For sure. 1 CP -1 damage. It is conditional. But
because you have to use it in the charge phase after you were charged. So you can't.
There are a couple of sorry, go for it.
No, it's fine.
There are a couple of benefits and a couple of downsides to that. One is that it doesn't get shut off by like Battleshock abilities. So anything that's like Dante's start of the fight phase, everything within 6 days of Battleshock test doesn't work on this, right? Tormentors from Drazar and Incubi in the new book, anything like that doesn't necessarily trigger it. So you can kind of get away with murder with this one, just be like, no, -1 damage, it doesn't matter. What it usually means is that your opponent kind of knows that you're less likely to interrupt this area because you've already managed some damage, you're blah, blah, blah. Like it has downsides that side. The thing that is the real downside with it is that your opponent doesn't necessarily have to have been declared a charge against you. If they charge something nearby and piled into you, you're just shit out of luck. So you do have to be very conscious of that, especially against some armies like World Eaters with a lot of ability to do that, potentially from outside of heroic intervention range even. So, a cool rule. Absolute cowardice to not let this one work on Dreadnoughts, by the way. Rank cowardice of the worst kind. And then 1 CP Terminator can go back into fight phase again. Just let this one work on Dreadnoughts, guys. Come on, it can't be.
This one should be Veterans, Dreadnoughts, and
absolutely should have been.
It would
if
be
you
very
wanted this
funny to
to
watch that
have
be done.
competitive viability, that's the kind of places that you would have needed to look for it. Overall, I think it's kind of cool. Like I like Double Oath is really good. If the Assault Terminator datasheet ever gets a glow up, like this is as close to viable as it's going to get. For now, I don't think it gets there, but I don't think it would take a ton for this to actually be like, okay, I can see why you would play this. It's got a good suite of stratagems. It's got an offensive stratagem. It's got a defensive stratagem. It's pretty solid. It doesn't have any mobility increases, which is fine. Asterisk. You can play Lone Up Lieutenants to get your mobility. You can play Incursors and all that kind of stuff. And Double Oath and like double reroll hits, reroll 1s to wound and +1 to wound oath is genuinely a lot of power to just like stick on a data sheet. I was even just like thinking, like, what does this look like if I just play through Whirlwinds? And like, that's a lot of full rerolls to hit and wound and +1 to wound on 3 Whirlwinds. That you don't even have to like. That you don't even have to like proactively. You don't have to proactively mark something, right? You can be like, okay, Whirlwind 1 is going to shoot that thing. Oh, it died. Cool. Let's pick a second thing, depending on how many Whirlwinds I have left, or if I want to just let something else do the job. Or, oh, it took all 3 Whirlwinds. I guess I'll something I'm going to charge instead, right? Like, there is something interesting there in, like, just the worst fucking way. I could see it.
Yeah,
Then
the doesn't
have...
seem bad. It seems fine, like aggressively okay, and somebody will probably make something work in it.
I am going to commit to taking this to at least one event in Scotland this year or next. I don't know if I have an event in this calendar year before Celtic Cup in Scotland, but I am going to try.
Yep. The next one is the Spearpoint Task Force one with
Supadan Khan.
Supadan
Finally have a bike character.
Hadouken Khan.
He seems so cool. He's 115 points according to the preview article. He's got 8 wounds and a 4 pinvoln. Plus 1 to advance.
Basically an extra tanky bike character.
He's an extra tanky.
He's hyper mobile because he has the Samael rule of he can always advance, fall back, shoot, charge.
Yep. And then he gets plus 1 to advance and charges, it looks like. And then
plus 1 to advance and charge is conditional. The unit has to have the ability to advance, shoot, and charge already, which means that you have to, in this detachment, you have to use the assault stratagem on them for some reason.
Which his unit just permanently has it at least, which is good.
It doesn't have permanent advance, shoot, and charge, just permanent advance and charge. So he doesn't get the plus 1 unless you have another way to give him shoot and charge, to give him advance and shoot. So you have to give him assault or something like that to do that.
Yeah, the plus 1's conditional on him having a rule that gives it to him otherwise. So like Samael has that as well, but it's because Company of Hunters gives you both of those things.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But that's a Dark Angels detachment, which you can't put Supadan in. So, but there are other ways of doing it. For example, as Ennis pointed out, in this detachment, if you also pay for the assault strat, which the timing on that, no?
You won't do that.
Yeah. He is 6 attacks at 6/2/2 Lance, anti-monster vehicle 4-up. It's fine. He has a sweep at damage 1. He does benefit from Outriders plus 1 damage, which is the unit he can lead, which is kind of cool.
Notably, pretty good with a sweep profile for plus 1 strength and damage.
Yep. Plus 1 damage on
What's
a sweep
the
profile.
strength and AP on his sweep attack?
I don't have that in front of me.
I think it's 5/2/1.
That would make sense.
That's not bad. That's 10 attacks at 6/2/2.
Yep.
That's a pretty good profile for like just being like, fuck those crew.
Yep.
Yeah, and he seems good. Like, I don't know. Yeah. He seems good and his cost is appropriate. And then his
I would say
him and 3 Outriders is what, 195
walls, guys.
Yep. He does go through walls. He's also, it's like 195 points for him in 3-mana Outriders, which is a pretty good skirmishing unit at that point with him attached to it.
Once they release veteran Outriders, once we finally get the Outriders crew that has a sergeant weapon frame in it,
just a power fist. That's all we want. Just give me a power fist.
Just a power lance. Come on, let me give them power lances.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some people talking about like playing this as like a full 6-man with the ATV and stuff like that, which you're just I don't see it. But
no, you play it with the 3-man. You keep the nice small profile because Outriders are on massive bases already.
Yep. Maybe with 1, can you do 3-man with the ATV?
Yes, the ATV just adds in like an attack bike used to.
Yeah, I think that might be okay, but
because you can do 6 Outriders and 2 ATVs. I think
6 and 1. I think it's just 1 ATV per.
That's right.
I think you just maybe at most do 3 and 1 ATV, but you probably are just doing the 3-man and running around. Otherwise, it's Stormlance. Everybody gets advanced / fallback and charge. Otherwise, it's the enhancements are like plus 1 strength, plus 1 AP, plus 2 if they charged.
So let's to talk about this in a sort of general sense. Advance and charge and fallback and charge are incredible rules. Just like army-wide, Marines break the game, right? They just say, ha ha ha, I do whatever I want, which is pretty solid. Now, this detachment has a bunch of like minor tweaks compared to regular Stormlance, and I'll kind of try to point them out as we go, that make it genuinely really interesting. Like on the general sense of the things this detachment does are really good.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go into this with a bit of a context of what you lose, which we'll talk about at the end. But let's start with easy bits. So one of the things that you might know from regular Stormlance is the enhancements are a goddamn disaster. All of them kind of suck except the one that's mounted only, which can only go on chaplains, chaplain on bikes who are bad. So the enhancements in this detachment doing anything is a great start. Literally, my list from LGT has 10 points it could spend on enhancement. There is not one that I can buy that does anything. I can buy reroll advances while I'm leading a unit for my lone up lieutenant. That's the limit.
Yeah.
So what do we get?
They dropped. So you have Spear Points Paragon, which is +1 strength AP on melee weapons, or +2 if you charge. You get Storm
so
Seer's
that's
Wisdom.
mounted only in the original detachment. This goes on anything here, notably, which is great if you're looking at like a Judicar or you want a Smash Captain, anything in that space. Really solid place to be.
Storm Seer's Wisdom, which is reroll advances for a unit, which is also actually just fine.
It's the same as it was in that's Portents of Wisdom. It still sucks. It's fine.
Yeah. Hunter's Eye, I think, is the good one, which is sustained hits and ignore cover for a unit.
Ranged weapons only, I believe. But
yeah, I mean, it's ranged weapons only. You slap it on like Eradicators or something.
This is pretty great. Eradicators with an Apothecary, Biologists with Harm Assist, Hellblasters with the Lieutenant, Intercessor with a Captain is a not terrible place. There's a ton of stuff that you can look at to do this. I think it's genuinely pretty solid. There is some really interesting things you can do with this. Notably, whatever you take, you can probably put it in a Storm Raven, baby, because this is still Stormlands.
The last one is come in a turn earlier from strategic reserves for mounted characters and mounted units, which isn't particularly good. It's only like one mounted character can take.
It is just the chaplain on bike, and he can only join.
Because at least in other Stormlands, you could run like Ravenwing command squads.
Mm-hmm. Can't do that.
I mean,
anymore.
It was really good when you could put it on Thunderwolves.
Yeah, I don't miss that.
Nobody does. Okay,
so yeah, players.
Genuinely compelling enhancement suite. The sustained hits ignore cover one and the +1 strength, +1 AP, +2 if you charged one is genuinely pretty good, and I quite like it. Okay, so stratagems.
It's armor contempt. Sure. Armor contempt, which is fine. Yeah, spear thrust and saber swing, which is actually pretty good because you notably give lance or lethal hits or both if it's mounted. The ability to give it to any unit and then to give both benefits to a mounted unit is very good.
So in Storm Lance Traditional, this is reroll charges and Lance if mounted. It is kind of terrible. Here it is much better. Lance and lethal, or one or the other. The fact that this can work on like your JPI squads or your captain unit, like you can have that little this was one of the foundational stratagems of Sons of Sanguinius. It's printed right here. It's not quite as good as it was in Sons of Sanguinius, but it's pretty solid. We're never going to be unhappy with it.
Yep. Mobile lethality, which is shoot after advancing or falling back.
Yeah, so notably
can target anything.
It can always target anything, but in Stormlands, this does not allow you to fall back and shoot. This is a very, very, very meaningful upgrade, especially for the Storm Raven. But also very good on Redemption Dreadnoughts to keep them active or anything like that.
The Stormlands one gave you Assault, and if you already had Assault, it gave you Sustained ones.
Yeah, which genuinely, really, really, really just like game-changing stratagem for this detachment.
They still have the 6-inch reactive move for infantry or mounted units, which is very good. Flat 6-inch reactive is amazing.
Yep, no change from regular Stormlands there.
Yep, -1 to hit or to wound to mounted or flying units. It's the same, I think. Yeah, the same.
Yeah, unchanged.
And then Withdrawn Regroup, which is pull either a mounted or a fly unit into strategic reserves at the end of an opponent's fight phase.
Yeah, also really good. This is the one that this replaces the flat 6 advance or the flat 9-inch advance for mounted, which is a 2 CP stratagem. It going away is sad, but not ultimately game breaking. It definitely does genuinely change the math on some stuff. It makes you less able to apply like instant turn 1 pressure, but being able to go back in reserve is really, really cool. There are some fun things you can do with this. Having just like a random Outrider squad, having a Hammer Strike go back into Deep Strike. Now, notably, the Storm Raven is too big to go off the board and come back in. It does have to come in off the board edge, which is just
it can. It just can't do anything.
Yeah, it can come in and be irrelevant, and that's fine. But yeah, like genuinely, really, really solid. It makes me miss my regular land speeders so much more.
And this detachment is great. I think
so. I think the important thing to remember here. Oh, and the last thing to cover is what Hadouken's special ability is that he gets to fight and fade. So after his unit kills something in combat, you can move 6 inches at the end of the fight phase. Make a normal move 6 inches at the end of the fight phase. I do believe you have to be outside combat. So you do have to kill a thing and then like not slide into something else, which does limit the ability to like consolidate and then do this, unless you were like completely free on an objective. But fight and fade is pretty good. This is a strong benefit the denser your terrain format is. If you're playing on like WTC terrain, this is going to be incredible. If you're playing on layout 6, fucking might as well be flavor text. So
fair.
It'll be good for move blocking. But now I think the things to remember of what you're giving up with this one, you are not going to have access to Ultramarines characters, which means you are not going to have access to Ultramarines command point generation, which is a very, very real component because this detachment is CP like fuck. This is not a CP star detachment. This detachment gobbles CP like a goddamn machine. You could sink 8 CP a turn into those stratagems and not feel it. You would not touch the sides. And you're not going to get that. You don't even have a CP generation character available outside of the captain for free stratagems, which just is not buffing a lot of the things the detachment wants. So I would be very, very cognizant of that when you're playing this detachment. You're also like a little beholden to Space Marine infantry melee, right? Like Sabokin's pretty good, but he's still just strength 7 lance. And you don't have like a +1 AP strat like Gladius. He is, like there is a limit to the amount of stuff he can kill. So I'm not convinced. As Nas says, to quote our resident Space Marine narcissist, this detachment is amazing and still somehow worse than Shadow Mark.
He's a narcissist, yes.
Can the Storm Marine come back to reserves if it is not hovering? Yes, it can, because it only measures to the base when it is in aircraft mode. So you can do it, but you just have to make your Storm Raven way worse to do it, which, I could see it. I could see it being interesting. A Judicar for CP economy. Does the Judicar give you a CP on character kill? It seems like working.
CP if they specifically kill a character.
I thought you just gained an attack for doing that.
Maybe it's the Warlord.
I think it is a little too CP thirsty to be good, especially because you can't put
he just gets +1 attack on his Executioner Relic Blade. He doesn't get the CP. He's not Master of Executions.
The Space Wolves version of this with Thunderwolf Cav only works because you can shove Bjorn into the army in order to generate more CP.
And then a lot of the reason that Stormlance Ultramarines works and the reason that I was willing to take it to LGT is because of Gulliman, who gives you a free stratagem anywhere rather than just on his unit. So I am optimistic that this detachment's great. I think this detachment is genuinely really solid. I don't think it's broken. I think this is like a solid B tier shit, right? Like it's solid, like it's real good. It looks broken, but if you have like frayed your nerve endings off by playing Space Marines at like full power, this is gonna be like like sick, dude. You have destroyed your nerve endings with monster and something else, and this is like a nice a nice herbal tea. It's definitely good for you. It's very solid. However, you ain't gonna feel it.
Yeah, I do just live in fear to see if we get anything else past this.
Corsaro Khan gives you a CP for killing a character.
There you go. You just bring Corsaro Khan. Just bring all the melee characters.
Brian, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Honestly, that you just take Sarkhan, shove him in some Blade Guard, give them the
solo Khan. Let's go character.
Solo Khan. Yeah, there you go. Go solo.
He's like 70 points. He's like basically a bad lone up lieutenant.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, just honestly, you probably just put Blade Guard with that unit and then do some stuff with it since you have.
God, he has to be leading to get his precision. Oh, it's so fucking sad. Honestly, I think he's probably better in 5 assault intercessors than he is in a real unit. Tell you what you do. You play a Sternguard veteran squad with the captain for sustained hits and ignore cover, and then you put Khan in there as well to double lead so that it can do something in combat, and then he gets full rerolls with his dev wounds. There you go. And then you can try to snipe out like a CP once per game.
Once per game. Damn.
If you can
it's fair.
If you can sort out the pew pew +1 CP of sniping the last wound on a character with Khan's bolt pistol, let me know. And I'll sort something out for you.
We'll send you a little plaque. It might just
not even
be
a heavy bolt pistol. It's the shitty.
No,
one.
he doesn't even have a heavy bolt pistol. It's a regular ass bolt pistol.
If you manage to swing that, I will send you just a gold painted Corsaro Khan. You can have.
Does his bird do anything? He has a bird on him, right?
I don't think
he
his
does.
Bird
I don't think he does anything though. I think that's the.
I can't believe his bird does nothing. That's heartbreaking. Koyaz's bird does something.
I think his bird gives him an ability on there or something.
It does not.
Like
it's not none of unless his bird gives him inspiring command. The generic.
That's what it is. Clearly,
it gives him for the Khan. That's what it does.
I mean, really, if anything, the bird's the trophy taker.
Oh, the bird flies over after Khan shoots somebody and pickpockets its keys.
It's off with it.
Yeah, carves out their eyeballs with its talons.
It's really, really sad that we're trying to figure out how Corsaro Khan gets you this.
The Kroot Farstalker's bird gives them ignore cover. Like, what is this? This is awful. So anyway, that's the two new detachments. I am genuinely curious about both of them. I think both of them seem pretty solid. I don't think either of them are better than Shadowmark. I don't think either of them are better than Ultramarines, Gladius, or Stormlance, which does, is probably for the best, if we're being honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, it probably didn't need to be. However, it's a little sad, right?
Yeah.
You always want something new to come out and be competitively viable and push the envelope, but also the envelope getting pushed continually is how we end up with double Gatling Chaos Knights being everywhere. So, I'm definitely considerate that maybe not the best thing. Yeah, interesting detachment. I am certainly curious to see how they both land competitively, and I'm sure they both seem like very, very solid, like A- in the case of like A minus A, or like an A in the case of White Scars, and like B, maybe B plus in the case of Hammer of the Averni. What is it called? Hammer of
whatever.
Hammer of Averni. There's too many eyes.
That's how you know it's that's how you know it's a sci-fi thing. It has too
I'm
many
kind
eyes or a
of
bottle
tempted.
stop in it.
I'm kind of tempted to invoke maybe the assault terminators are broken, and that's how Iron Hands comes about the end of the apocalypse for the edition, guys. We just have to wait. I just need one more Space Marine data sheet, guys. I just need one more data sheet.
Yeah, that's how they get you on the hamster wheel. I need these models, guys. Just don't worry. I'll buy whatever you put out. Just keep putting it out.
I just need one more Space Marine data sheet, bro. Just one more Space Marine data sheet, and I promise Iron Hands will be good. Just one. So, the real last question: are Ultramarines getting a detachment with Calgar?
Without a doubt.
I hope it's First Company too.
No,
I hope
I
that
think
one's
there
Iron
is
Storm.
somehow.
It'll be Ironstorm just because it'll be funny.
No.
Look, everyone misses Rebooty Storm, so
No. I don't.
Get
Please
Old Mercy
stop.
back for 1 CP.
You know what?
Reduced by 1 by Gulliman.
Just
Exactly.
if
0 CP Mercy.
If you add all these new detachments and new character models, and somehow the Marine meta doesn't change at all because they add a new detachment that's really good with Ultramarines, I will cry. I will just weep real tears. Oh, yeah. New Gladius Paint Celestine sounds like a nightmare. Please don't do that to me.
Yeah, so we got 2 First Company reworks for some reason.
2 First Company reworks would be. Oh yeah, we already got. Well, let's get a third. We need a third First Company rework.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious how bad First Company is. Like, where is my Anvil rework? GW. The fact that they were like the Terminator character is a Terminator, therefore we should do the Terminator detachment and not Anvil and Ironstorm. It should have been Anvil for Imperial Fist and Ironstorm for Iron Hands. They could have nerfed it. It would have been fine. They could have just been Mercy's the strat that goes. It would have been fine. It didn't have to get crazy.
It didn't.
And yet,
it's fine. I think it's fine that these new detachments are just okay outside of Shadowmark, which is good.
I gotta head off, guys. You have
see you later, Jeremy.
Catch you next time, Jeremy. I think Shadowmark ultimately probably needs to change, but what is our data say for Shadowmark at the moment? What's Shadowmark sitting at win rate wise?
I can pull it up again. I closed the data sheet because
it was making your computer lag like a mother trucker, lag like a blood angel.
That. Well, it gets quite large and unwieldy the deeper we get into a quarter. It's why we split it by quarters now, because it slowly eats all the memory on my computer to run this spreadsheet. I will say it's fine. I think
all we need is people to stop playing tournaments.
Yeah, if you all could stop playing tournaments and give me and Jeremy a vacation from reading stats, that'd be really cool if you actually.
Yeah, guys, come on. We're actually just sick of all of you. You all know that, right?
It's true. I am tired of everyone and everything and don't want anything to happen anymore. Shadowmark casually has a 62% win rate. It's fine.
Sick. Josh.
Yep, it's great.
Josh. Josh. I know you're still painting Centurions, probably, but Josh.
I built Centurions and they made me the maddest I've ever been at a model assembly in a while, which is very funny. It's just because they got all the little tiny things on them.
I think I own 21 Centurions. I'm very ready to. I'm like, Shadowmark is definitely on my shortlist for Worlds. Let's not fuck about.
Yeah, it's really good on GW terrain because it's got really good places to slam Centurions with firing lanes and stuff like that. It's just
fucking does. So we shall see. We shall see what the world holds for us as we move forward. All right. I suppose it's probably time to do the plugs, and then we can do the show questions, and then we can wrap up at a nice human time today. So let's do it. as I fervently scroll back to find the Discord channel that all this stuff is in.
It's fine. We'll be there.
All
We'll
right.
still be here.
I hope everybody's having a wonderful time so far with the show. We're going to be sticking around for another half hour to an hour or so and answering your questions. But if you'd like to support the show a little bit more and you're in a position to do so, you can check out patreon.com/statcheck or the YouTube membership program in the description box below. For $5 a month, you get access to our Patreon Discord. You can have a chat with us. You can participate in the Vibe Check Leagues, all of those wonderful things. And you can chat and shit dog with us. You can see people's progress in the health channel, all that good stuff. It is just a wonderful place to be, and I strongly recommend it if you're in a position to. If you're not and you'd still like to help us out a little bit, you can do all of the usual social media stuff, liking, commenting, subscribing. We do our best to respond to all the comments that you guys leave, especially if they're up within a couple of days of the show, and it is greatly appreciated. It really helps us out with making sure that more people can see what we're doing, and hopefully hear our horrible takes about Hadouken Khan and Canuck be varshed, my new two favorite Space Marine characters. If you'd like to support any of the people that help bring you StatCheck, that is red-dragon.ca, that is J15 Games, that is Wayland Yutani, and that is Saltar Games. You can find all of the links in the description below if you're looking for terrain, models, Magic the Gathering cards, widgets, or GW or 40k mats, anything like that. Please do check them out. You can find all of them below. There's description in the description. You'll find discount codes for most of them. If you want a discount code for Red Dragon, you'll need to check out our Patreon and YouTube memberships. If you want to hear more from us, check out stat-check.com, and you can find, no, that's 100% not the right one, youtube.com/statcheck. You can find us live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UK time, with the possible exception, I believe it is the UK's time zone change in like 2 weeks. So it'll be like 10 p.m. UK for a couple of weeks, and then it'll switch back once the US goes back to their time zone. We will always be going off of 11 p.m. US time, because otherwise we don't get Anthony to show up, because he is a gremlin who only responds at the right times. If you want to watch other episodes of all of our shows, you can check out that same website. You can check out the same show. You can find Champions of 40k, End of the Matrix, X1, and Take All Comers. You can find all of them there, as well as back episodes of StatCheck. Triple checking.
Coaching.
I don't think I know that's the next one. That's the one that affects me personally, so I never forget that one.
I should have assumed that your selfish nature would key in there. I'm sorry. I should have assumed.
If you would like to work with any of the StatCheck coaches, such as myself, Liam VSL, Nassim Fuchain, actually, me and Liam, we've gotten enough after LGT. Check out the other guys a bit, give them some love. So that's specifically, you want to check out Tyler, Pumba, and Nassim right now are the ones that they need some love. Reach out. So if you're looking to work with any of the armies that those guys are specific to, I actually updated my coaching page a couple weeks ago. So if you want to see anything there, I will show myself. I've got to, and also Liam, he's also wonderful. That's stat-check.com/coaching, or drop us an email at coaching@stat-check.com, or just drop any of our coaches a message on Discord. We'll always be happy to put you in touch with anyone else. I think that's all I need to do today. So we're going to move on to the show questions. There are 3 good ways to get your question answered on the show. One is to be a member of the StatCheck Patreon Discord and leave your question in the show's thread. One is to leave a super chat on the live show. And the third is to just ask a really, really good question in the chat that we like when we're not too busy. This week, we're probably calling it pretty short. So, we'll maybe not do too many. But if you ask a really good question, who knows? That's our our carrot bait hook. Please interact in the chat. Please interact in the chat. Show questions. Nathan, do you want to take us away?
Don't give away the secret of how the sausage is made in this. Just leave it alone.
I have to.
Thank you for Sam Dunn for joining as a YouTube member.
Hell yeah, Sam. Thank you very much for joining us.
And then Steve 13th Legion, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Hard enough to create American hockey fans without Jeremy sending them memes about how much the Sabres suck. That's not a question, but I appreciate the vibe, and I appreciate bringing up the NHL.
Do the Sabres suck? I don't know who the Sabres are.
They
have a cool name.
They're Buffalo, New York's team.
Okay.
That's who the Sabres are. There you go.
I heard Buffalo.
That is true. Yep. There you go. Buffalo is part of their logo even. So there you go. All right.
What's the difference between a buffalo and a bison?
They're the same thing. Are we just going to make this you ask me questions?
I mean, why not, right?
All right. Anthony Carter has a question. It says for vanilla, but I think we're also qualified to answer this question, which is, you have commented you consider Tyranids to warrant a buff. What would you want buffed without going over a la maybe AdMech? What changes would you make to Tyranids right now in this? Just one.
I think I would make the +1 strength in synapse range also affect their shooting.
I think that's a good change, actually.
Or I would give it an additional +1 AP in melee. One of the two. Like either buff the shooting and make everything synapsy, or like something else.
Plus 1 AP would be really good, honestly.
It would be really
That
good in
might
melee. It
be.
would really help a lot of thresholds.
Yep. Honestly, I think plus 1 AP in melee is really what I want. Plus 1 strength, plus 1 AP in melee for
Yeah,
synapse.
I would rather
be
not go to
awesome.
like make the turreted shooting better direction, right? I would think making the melee better would be cool. But also I appreciate that a lot of the better melee stuff in that turret is already like melee is already a lot of the stuff that's good in Tyranids, like Gene Stealers and Hyper Ravs, but giving a bit more to more of the stuff would be super cool. So that's where
Otherwise,
I go.
I think buffing some of the profiles on like some of the Norns and things like that, I think would go a long way.
Every single monster
Highfires
that's
probably need
strength
a little
9
love.
base can go to strength 10 base, so they go to 11 with the fucking buff, so that they can actually crack vehicles by winning them on 3s instead of 4s.
That would be cool. I agree. All right. Il Pispi says, what singles event would you recommend to attend in Europe?
War Masters is a really good one if you can make it out. It's a midweek event, which sometimes can sell a little easier, especially if you're trying to bring family over with you, because you can be like, hey, I'm going to go and do this thing on like a Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we can have the weekend to go and like do some cool stuff in Europe, which I think is super cool. I would definitely recommend that. Otherwise, one of the like independent events like Paris War Games weekend, the one that's in a couple of weeks in Paris, or maybe doing like one of the Alpine events, doing something like HAO or the German Super Major in Germany. Like do one of the destination events. Like go to a cool city and do a cool event that you're there. If you can do one of the like Amsterdam events or Amersfoort, or I'm one of my big events I'm doing in Europe is Malmo Wargaming weekend next weekend. Like pick a city that you want to go to and then try to find like message to people in that country and try to find a place to like a cool event in that area. That's going to do better for you than like trying to pick a specific event to specifically go to. If you want to go for size specifically, LGT is there. I'll also shout out, if you want to come to Scotland to come and do Celtic Cup or Doonhammer, one of those ones, like, big 200 player, 150, 200 player events in Scotland, they're also available. Like there's nothing preventing you, but like ultimately, whichever big country you want to go to, there's probably a big tournament there. And if you time it right, you can probably tie it in with a holiday, which makes it easier to sell to the family and all that kind of stuff. Or just, the opportunity to go and do a bunch of cool stuff, right? Like whether it's in Greece or I know Cyprus and Malta have like a big tournament and stuff like that as well, right? So wherever you want to go in Europe, there's something worth doing Warhammer wise. So don't sweat it. Just pick the place you want to go to.
Can't believe this has started an argument. It's just Buffalo is interchangeable with bison, folks. I'm not going to go into the fucking nonsense biology of it. And yes, thank you, Jeffrey Dobb, for the $2 super chat. In most of the world, a buffalo is a water buffalo, which is true. They are different species of animals, but the term is used interchangeably for American bison.
All buffalo are not buffalo. Some of them are bison.
Correct. All buffaloes are not buffalo. Some of them are bison. I mean, American bison are in their own distinct family, and they're called bison. But there are also European bison, which are bison.
If I called the city of Buffalo the city of bison, I would be technically correct.
Sure. We'll just
for me. This is Tuesday.
I don't feel like cogitating that. I don't feel like actually thinking about a response to that question, and I'm just going to continue back into the Patreon.
Anyway, congratulations to the New York Buffaloes for sucking it all.
The New York Buffaloes is great. John Leonard has no any good jokes. My 40K play at the moment is currently a good joke.
The Iron Hands detachment.
Yeah, that's also another good joke. Henry the Fart Master, because it's all in caps.
Oh yeah.
The leader of your faction is going to a Halloween party. What costume are they wearing? Who is the leader of the Eldari faction?
Probably Eldrad, right?
Yeah, I guess Eldrad. I guess Eldrad would dress up as somebody not turning into a crystal.
Eldrad would dress up as himself, but younger and hotter.
Yeah. Eldrad would dress up as somebody who managed to convince Fulgrim not to pick up the demon sword.
I choose to believe the Swarm Lord would dress up as just like a grasshopper, just like giant green costume, like or like the one of the like giant inflatable T-Rexes.
That would be great.
Swarm Lord becomes one of those.
All right, Josiah Gaddle has, looking at the new year budgeting, both time and money for coaching. Two-part question. What would you say the time requirement to get the most out of coaching would be? For example, how many games per week, per session, between session? Is there additional homework or other stuff that should be budgeted time-wise for making coaching a success?
So I usually recommend to my clients that whatever the time it takes you to play between 3 and 5 useful games is going to be the time I recommend. For most clients, that ends up being somewhere between weekly and monthly, depending on how frequent they are. In terms of additional time requirement, obviously, coaching is a you get in what you you get out what you put in format, right? Like the more that you come with questions, the more that you come with ideas, the more that you come with things that you want to talk about and work on, the easier like you will have getting your money worth, right? Like you can talk about a lot of stuff, but the stuff that specifically relates to you and your questions is the stuff that will help you grow more. So some amount of that is just, are you capable of doing some amount of self-reflection, like time-wise between games that you play, right? Can you answer some questions? Can you take some pictures and do some notes and like, throw it in a Google document and send it to your coach? That's going to be something that will help you. But that shouldn't be much more than like a little bit of extra time. Now you might find that you want to do like a little bit of playing like more games on TTS or stuff like that so that you can get a bit more of like a referenceable format, because if you play a game on TTS you can take save states, you can jump back in with your coach and do all that kind of stuff, which can be more valuable, right? Like you might find that there is changes to your time demand, but broadly it shouldn't take much more than the time it takes you to play some games normally, plus like an extra 10 minutes of reflective process when you have a break. But you don't even need to necessarily do that on the day you play the game. A lot of that can be similar, but the degree of you're probably committing an hour on whatever time period you can afford, you can justify. There is some amount of time demand, but it shouldn't be, in theory it shouldn't be too much.
And then the second question from Josiah is, how would you go about choosing the right coach for you? I know everyone has a different way of learning and coaching. Are there good ways to understand learning and teaching styles to make sure that you're getting the most out of your
You should probably watch some amount of the people that you think would be interesting for you, do some like of their more educational content. So if you've seen them make a piece that talks about an army that you like, think about how they talk about it. Like like are they answering questions in a way that you think you would find useful, in a way that you recognize having been useful in the past. The alternative is like message them and ask, right? Like you can chat about it. Um, do a one-off and see how it feels and then go from there, right? It doesn't have to be, you don't have to commit long term to one coach. Try a bunch of different people. I've got plenty of clients who flip between a couple of different coaches depending on what army they're playing, what mood they're in, right? That kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You're not beholden to any one person. It's your growth and your patterns. Like, work on it, learn what works for you, and go with the flow. But generally, think about who thinks about the game in a way that you can relate to, right? Who talks about the game and concepts in a way that sounds like the problems that you're having or sounds like the solutions that you have, right? That can be another way to do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who is, oh, they solve problems in the same way or they like have the same problems I do, or they play a game the same way that I do. But when they talk about how they solve problems, I relate to the process that they have, right? That's the kind of space to look at for me, I think.
And then next host Floof, thank you for the $5 super chat. They say you can't milk a bison for sauce, but you can milk a buffalo for its sauce. I don't want to process that either. That's too much for me today, Floof. I can't do it. Will has the next question, which is, would you rather see a fresh set of detachments for a Grotmus equivalent, or doing a big revamping of all the consistently weaker factions, or the weaker detachments like First Company, Slaanesh, Chosen, Dread Talons, etc.?
I think it's okay for bad detachments to be bad, and that we don't need it's okay for detachments to be, this is the detachment for narrative. This is a detachment that's intended for war narrative play. It is very like a lot of them are very clearly just, this is a way for a play style that we have supported in the past to continue to exist. It is not a play style we think is particularly healthy, right? Like Siege Regiment for Guard, right? This is the artillery detachment. Artillery detachments probably shouldn't be good. It is okay that is not one of the detachments that is intended for competitive play, or any Battleshock based detachment, or Brood Brothers, right? Like it's okay that they're bad. It doesn't, like us clamoring for every detachment to be balanced just makes GW's job harder, and makes it harder for them to print things that are for fun and flavor. Even at, like, not everybody wants to play Crusade, right? Some people want to play their fun stuff in a competitive game, in a competitive environment, and they're not super worried about it being like perfect. And it's okay that it's not. It's cool that there's some things that are like intro detachments and trainer stuff and things that are just allowed to not be that good because they have problematic design directions. I would like to see for Grotmus, I think tunings of like the mid-tier ones, the ones that have fallen out of favor, right? Things that used to be good that aren't anymore, or updating like, 3 data sheets per detachment of like iconic things that are not played. That would be what I would like to see. It'd be like, okay, we did a big update for, like, okay, what's not great in Space Marines? Like, let's do the regular Land Raider, let's do Terminators, like the regular Terminators, and let's do like whatever was in like the starter set, right? Like fucking Infernus Marines, right? Let's just take 3 things that are like pretty key, pretty core, and let's just redo them to be a bit more interesting. Okay, let's do the same thing for Tyranids. Let's do Carnifexes. Let's do like Hive Tyrants. Let's do something else, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be specific. Tyranid Warriors, right? Let's do the Tyranid Warriors and just buff 3 data sheets per book to just be okay. Let's get this to be the point where we think this, like, call it like the iconic update. All the data sheets that are core and key, and yeah, okay, a few armies maybe don't need them, like Emperor's Children, because just I'm sorry, buddy, we're just not going to make the Emperor's Children Heldrick a good data sheet, and there's not a ton left in that book, but I think that would be fine.
I agree with that. I think you could alternate adding detachments with just buffing data sheets and like add some new detachments for some books. But we're at a point now where all the books are out essentially. So
yeah, or like give Emperor's Children their new detachment, but and like one data sheet update of like, okay, we reworked the prints to be less abhorrent, right? Because it could be taking the top off of some stupid stuff in the book as well, right? Like that'd be fine.
yeah, it doesn't have to all be buffs. It would be nice if it was mostly buffs, but it could be like the
It'd feel a lot
nerf
better
to
if you weren't
top
like
off
not
something.
looking forward to it because you were worried you might get nerfed.
Yep. All right. Tessa Testarossa has the next question. I just like that there are 3 names on this username, and I'm going to use a different one every time. What are the pros and cons of overrep versus 4-0 event starts, and what makes overrep the preferred choice? I think that it is important to view 4-0 event starts in the context of how the meta population works. So it's not dissimilar from how TWEP used to work, right? It's a number of people who get into winning position. But I also think it's interesting to look at people who get into top 4s just generically, because it doesn't necessarily always include everybody who goes 4-0 in smaller events. But yeah, I think they're both good stats. I just like the ease of explaining overrep versus the ease of explaining TWIP as a thing to people, because sometimes I think people get more confused by TWIP than they did by overrep in a lot of situations.
Yeah, TWIP also just like massively. So there is kind of a consideration here, right? Overrep massively underfavors huge events because so few people get to go 4-0 at them, but also they're a significant part of the player population. So it means that they just impact the event, because the kind of philosophy that we have on this is the event size is very strongly correlated to player population. So we're already expected to see that in sort of like what showed up at the event overall. So or what showed up at the tournament. So we don't want to massively overcorrect for the biggest events. Overrepresentation does a way of just saying that every event that everybody goes to is evenly weighted as like 1-on-1. You think of it like the US Senate, right? Like everything is, and it's a terrible comparison, but everything gets 4 slots. Every event, no matter how big you are, there's no proportional representation like there is in play rate, right? It's a fair representation, right? Everybody gets 4 versus everybody gets equivalent to their player size. So it's a way to just like evenly weight for everything and say this is what is capable of winning a tournament, whether it's a big tournament or a small tournament, and kind of rewards that it all kind of the same way. Whereas you would see a lot of stuff like if we just did 4-0 event starts, you would see the things that went, like of the people at, well, like what 1 in 16 people at a big event goes 4-0. So if you have a 1,000-player event like LGT, that is suddenly 80 people going, or like 80 people going on that list. That's a lot of people for no real reason, and that will drown out other event data. So we want to be very conscious of trying to do things that incorporate both the smaller events and the bigger events, and like weighting out. And the thing that we tend to find for our perspective is that a lot of the coverage and a lot of the conversation gravitates to the bigger events because they're flashier. We want to talk about the results at LGT, the top 8, etc., etc. So they're already kind of like pushed into the conventional conversation by the Goonhammer articles, by the interviews that everybody sees, whereas the smaller events tend to be a little less weighted. So overrep kind of covers for that. So it's kind of like there is some degree of everything has to go in there. Does our data include shadow rounds?
Sometimes if
it's
posted
on BCP, we include it. If it's not, we can't, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just impossible. Also, Innes is correct. Like part of this is just to make the stats both easier to parse, but also more universally applicable. Because it doesn't matter if like you can't have a week of event data being LGT's data. It just doesn't work entirely for it, and largely skew the win rate data because more factions are being played at those events. There's that as well. And yeah, Celtic Kiss, I'm not watching it and doing it manually. That's too much work. That's just like, no, I'm not doing that. Nobody wants to do that. Every time you add manual steps into this, you also add places where we can make mistakes.
The other thing is that we don't always know which events have shadow rounds. There is entirely
Also
possible
true.
that a random GT somewhere has a shadow round that we didn't track, and then suddenly our data is technically inaccurate. So we just go with if it's not on BCP, it's not our problem. We take the same policy with like event penalties and things like that. We won't manually zero someone for an event that got kicked. If they got zeroed out of an event, then like if you didn't manually zero them, we're not doing it for you, right? Like that kind of space. So
I mean, the other thing to understand is that we do everything outside of BCP as well, as long as we can figure out what to do essentially. Like we include like the large French events that are on their tracker. We also have included large German events that are on yet another tracker, and then Poland has had a tracker of their own previously that they still sometimes use. We do make sure to pull from every possible source where we can find events. That doesn't mean we find them all, but we try to find as
also
many.
Most events generally put their shadow round on BCP now, with the exception of LVO for some goddamn reason. So
and
we also just don't want to reward bad behavior, right? Like why the number of people who see an event like LVO, I don't know if you ever watched like Joe stream the chat after a shadow round. Everybody's always like, "What the hell happened overnight? Why is this person in the lower bracket without a loss? Blah blah blah." Because it's impossible to follow. So if you're going to run a shadow round, put it in BCP. We're not rewarding bad behavior like hiding stuff like that from the general population. If the event isn't recoverable and understandable by the general population, then you did a bad job.
Yep. And then why is overrep specifically top 4 rather than top 3 or 5? It actually was a little arbitrary. I won't lie. Part of it, I will admit to people that when I developed the statistic, it was partially just to capture like as much of the people who could have potentially won an event, but also people who placed really well with factions without having a ton of overlap with top 10s and also with event wins.
The theoretical reason for it is that it captures the semifinals. Is technically the like if you're doing a top cut event, it captures the semifinals. That is the 4 people in the top 4. Those are the 4 people who are playing for the win, and then that just then scales down to every event, right? It just theoretically, if you're at a 32 player tournament, there should be 1 person that goes 5-0 and 3 people that go 4-1. 2 people that so 1 person that got and 2 people that got the pair up that got the win up from the 3-0 bracket, and 1 person that got the loss down, or the 1 person that got the loss down from the 4-0 bracket, and 2 people that got the win up from the 3-1 bracket. So theoretically, it should give a clean top 4. That's kind of the general principle that we ran with, and it's always going to be arbitrary. You draw the line somewhere. We drew the line there 3.5 years ago now. It is not moving.
Back in Fight Club. Yeah, part of this is also like we had a conversation about developing the statistic back when we developed the statistic, or the back in the Fight Club 40K days. That's when we developed it.
If we ever discover a strong reason to change it, we are open to changing it. But until we have such a reason, then we are currently happy with this. We do track the other stuff, right? Like you can still see 4-0 event starts and all that kind of stuff on our data sheet. We just don't consider it one of our our priority stats. Yeah. And we try to be consistent with that, right? Like we do our best to not be like, this week we're going to use 4-0 event starts because it tells the story we want to tell. We try to, give you guys, this is the win rate, this is the event wins, this is the top 4s, this is the player population every week, so that you guys know that we're not cherry picking, or we're not picking the numbers that make the story that we want to tell look better, right? We want you guys to be able to trust the data we're giving you to the best of our ability.
Also, we developed overrep, and we're going to use it because that is our statistic.
It's our one, yeah. We like it.
Yeah, it's our thing. Like, let us have our thing. I'm kidding. If you have an actual argument that you want to detail to me, you can send me a DM with your full argument for why it would be different. But I may or may not consider it when making decisions.
We will wholly ignore it unless it's a great argument.
Yep. John Johnson has the next question, which is, now that all the codexes are out and we still have 9 more months of the edition, what are you guys hoping for models and rules releases before 11th?
I hope they do 1 new character for every army, or 1 new data sheet for every army. Just everybody gets 1 to just push through, like what Kill Team is doing, etc., etc.
We can finally get our Striking Scorpions Phoenix Lord Karandras back.
Yeah, exactly. Do Karandras, do Grotesques, do exactly. Do one core missing unit for everybody.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, don't make it a character specifically. I think making it a character would be sad, because it's just everybody got a character with their battle force or with their star set. Like every book already got a character. Do a data sheet, do a unit, do an update to something iconic, or do something new. I think it'd be a really cool way to just finish out the edition where everybody's like, that every army's got something to look forward to as we come out towards the end. Tie it in with a campaign where like every army is fighting for whatever, right? Like it's easy to sell it worldwide.
I'd love to see a new Loyalist Primarch pop out of the void. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'd
like you
enjoy
could
that.
also potentially do it as like a new character, right? You do like maybe you do Drago, you do Vect, right? Like you do, but like I feel like a bunch of these guys are big, like when they do a new campaign release kind of thing, right? Like they're big seller things that don't want to just be drip fed out at the end of an edition. This is a good space to do new cool things that like maybe don't fit into the conventional release schedule. But what I think will realistically happen is that we'll get like 25 new Space Marine units.
Also, one new GSC character, because that is just the pattern that we've been given.
Oh yeah, for sure. If it's as good as the Benefactors, I won't complain.
It'll have the Primus's old rule. That's what it will have. I don't know.
Hell yeah, and it can double join with Benefactors.
Yep, exactly. But it only
Actually,
have,
it'll give crit 5s. That's what.
There it is.
They can
There,
double
yep,
join
there
with
we go.
Benefactors.
All right, and then the Bodazifa has the next question, which is, do you guys have any good ways of dealing with burnout / getting motivated to practice competitively without taking a break from the game? Some of that I think is just about, I guess the latter part of this is I have some events coming up that if I don't go to or give it all my all, I know I will regret it later. I mean, you just have to set yourself up for success a little bit here. Like if you know that you're starting to burn out, like you can pull back without not preparing at all or taking a break. Just maybe play a little lighter, maybe make sure to try something like that you enjoy a little bit more about 40K and do it that way instead of forcing yourself to practice specifically competitively. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to play some faction that you enjoy a little bit more, like do that and you can still get something out of it by seeing what the matchups kind of into things are like and stuff like that, and so practicing some fundamentals. I don't know if Innes you have something different, but I also don't think you
generally think I've ever experienced anything I could describe as burnout for 40K, unfortunately. Well, I mean fortunately, but unfortunately for this conversation.
Steve, Destroyer of Worlds, has the next question, which is, what other chapters do you want to get their own special characters and detachments?
Ultramarines.
Do one for Lamenters. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh, a new Blood is essentially just upgraded lag.
That would be the Lamenters detachment right there. Upgraded lag. I don't know. Give Charcaradons their characters back, I guess, and make them no longer Forge World.
I have about 5 clients that'll just like immediately hit the roof if that happens. So
yeah, everybody loves Space Sharks. I don't know. It's probably just has to do with that one guy who has like 2 chain fists.
Tiburos, the Red Wake.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, Crimson Fist, Pedro Cantor. Let's go. Vote for Pedro.
Let's do it. Next question is from Isaac. Shadow Crayon T. Shadow Crayon. Lucius or 5 Tormentors plus good enhancements in the Prince build?
Lucius.
Most underrated new datasheet of the edition. I feel like the Benefactress was underappreciated until she was put on the table.
The Benefactress was kind of bad in the index detachment, or like kind of bad until. No, why did we think the Benefactress? The Benefactress was just kind of boring. It did a bunch of stuff that we already kind of had, but she was pretty solid from the go. Most underrated new detachment. Company Heroes, maybe?
Yeah, that feels right. Company Heroes was definitely one of the things that people didn't really think was really great at the get-go.
What else is new this edition? Like, didn't exist before?
I think very initially people weren't super excited about hyper adaptives. Like they were excited, but now they're like really.
It's definitely not the Combi Lieutenant. That guy's rated exactly perfectly.
He's in every single army, which is exactly where he should be.
Nemesis Claw.
Nemesis Claw is definitely one. I don't think people understood how good.
Lord on Juggernaut for World Eaters, maybe.
That took a long time to develop.
Oh no, he was not new. Was he? He wasn't new. He was in the Invictus box. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
the new one was the Slaughterbound.
New datasheet of the edition. The Slaughterbound is actually something I think you could say. I think he was underappreciated until a little bit later.
The Scatros. Let's go. That guy's fucking great.
Yeah, the Scatros is great. Everybody hated that guy.
Lycus.
Lycus, honestly,
she's not underrated.
Not
right?
underrated. She's underappreciated. Definitely underappreciated.
Subductors, maybe.
Maybe. This is hard.
Yeah, it's tough because
Because-
a lot of the new detachments or data sheets are either like incredible or terrible. I think Benefactus is a good show actually. She was definitely.
that is a good
I was
one.
definitely a little disappointed with her when she got spoiled. I was hoping for a more combat character for Nids or for Gene Circle.
DJ is up next. On the topic of Tau, what was everyone's worst match played into them in 10th edition? I actually cannot remember a single game playing into Tau from this edition.
Just watching Carl Grundy slow roll hazardous check so that he could command roll when he failed was fucking frustrating. Back in the old cyclic ion blaster days.
There you go. Isaac Spooky Clark has a question of 30 Termies or 20 End Magnus. I think you just do 30, right?
Just do 30. You will not regret 30 Terminators.
And then Rickard has the next question, which is for jamming as many Terminators / Paladins as possible. Assume that the amount of models I have is Texas money with a $sign.
Probably Banisher with like loan up librarians and go for it. It'll be okay.
Floop has the next question. Floop, number one fan of Hypers, has the next question, which is, what's the best Swarm army right now? I need a new home.
It's probably Recon Guard, but it might be Invasion Fleet. It's probably Recon Guard,
think
though.
Recon Guard is probably the one with the highest ceiling, right?
I think Nemo made it look broken. I'm not sure if it is, but Nemo made it look real good.
Floop is probably good enough to make it seem broken then. I actually
Floop is probably good enough to make it look playable. I'm not sure about broken.
There you go. DJ is the next one up, which is, what is the second best army right now? Swarm army right now, which is definitely Invasion Fleet, right?
If it's not, it's the other one, right? If Invasion Fleet is the best one, Recon Guard is the second. If not, it's the other way around.
Yep. And Ashley Thompson says, what buffs would you give to Tau? None. 0.
I would not give type buffs.
Yeah, that army does not need buffs. None of the stats are indicating.
Thank you, Floof. I appreciate you responding to that in the timely manner.
It's way funny that I gave Floof my faith, then Innes was like, "Fuck Floof in particular." It's too late.
The friends of the show
Floof.
have to accept that they're going to get made fun of if they try to chat with us live.
If you are too close to this, Innes will make fun of you. That's just.
If I was going to give Tau buffs, it would probably be to Ox Cadre. I would make Ox Cadre's loan up to 15 inches instead of 18 inches so that it was a little easier to be fucking annoying with it, because that attachment's cool as sick. Cool has all of the aura that belongs to Tau is in Ox Cadre's. I'm going to charge you with my Riptide so that my Riptide can fall back over you and flip your home objective. That is 100% of the aura that the entire Tau army has, and I am there for that.
Rickard, that doesn't mean you're not a friend. It just means that we like you enough that we don't make fun of you.
I just don't know you all that well, Rickard. I'm sorry.
There you go. And I don't really make fun of people that much on the show, so that's not a thing.
It's mostly just me and Anthony, yeah.
Yep. Ashley,
Actually,
all right,
Anthony's generally quite nice.
Here are the buffs that I would give Tau. So I would buff Farsight and Shadow Sun with some additional stuff. Make Farsight like crazy good in melee combat or something like that.
It already is.
You just make him better. I don't know how you make him better, but you do it. And then the opposite end of that is you nerf all the stuff we already talked about earlier. To bring Tau into line so they get a bunch of buffs to Farsight and a bunch of nerfs to everything else.
Right. Yeah, okay, I'm there for that.
And that is the last question that I'm going to do. I'm sorry, DJ. We already answered one of your questions. I'm not going to do a second one right now here at the end. And instead, we're going to trail out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us here today. I hope everybody is ready and willing for the weekend. Nathan, do you want to do your bit before I do my bit?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick. So if you join the Crisp High 5 tier of the Patreon, which is the $15 a month tier, you get thanked at the end of every episode, along with a bunch of in-person benefits, including tokens and some other stuff that, whatever is convenient.
From participating hosts only. But
Yep, from participating hosts only. You can't just walk up to Innes and expect to get all those benefits, but you will get a Crisp High 5.
I can do the high five. I cannot do the free tokens. Nathan has those tokens.
Yes, I have all those tokens. They're all mine.
I think Typhus offers a kiss on the cheek, but
yep, so does Pumbaa. Pumbaa also offers that. All right. Thank you to Christopher. If Death Guard become Codex compliant, can they get +1 to wound 2? Irvine. Yes, they definitely can. Thank you to Willow Weeks. Thank you to Dan F. Thank you to Luke Harridan's taking the Subway McCarthy. Thank you to David Cruit alone ... weak ... cruit together ... strong Clark. Thank you to Exhausted. Thank you to James H. Thank you to Colton, Dan F. Miller. Thank you to Fungus. Thank you to John V8 Gang. If I cut my hand off and replace it with a robotic one, would I get +1 to wound? Yes, definitely, but only against yourself. Thank you to Cam, F. Dan, and Morton. Hog emoji. Thank you to Lady Malice's footstool. Lady Malice is sold out, and it makes me sad because I wanted to buy that model. Thank you to Josiah Gettle. Thank you to Frankie. What am I talking to Worlds Fresh? What am I taking to Worlds Fresh? Damn, I cannot read.
You should take Iron Hands with 3 Redemptors, 3 Ballistas, 3 Brutalis.
And then thank you to Isaac tonight on Stat Check. Innes bought more Space Marines. In parentheses, he really needed them. Jeremy is still thinking of playing Dark Angels for some reason. And Nathan is going to visit Bison, New York, Tirana. I am, in fact, not going to.
I'm not going to lie.
Bison
I spoke about that triple whirlwind version of the Iron Hands list and immediately was like, ooh, I know what we're building after the stream. someone's gonna have to play me on triple whirlwind again. Just have the worst game of their fucking life.
All right. Thank you to Thomas for Equation, but upside down. Thank you to Steven Scissorass in a -1 damage Ghost Arc Ross. No. Thank you to Tom Wooden Spoon Winner H. Thank you to Good News, comma, it's actually Ordo Malleus, so I am still marked safe from having Space Marines. Thank you to the heart emoji. Thank you to Floof having a good name I like, Hard Cox. Thank you to Come With Me on a Gucci Adventure, trademarked. Thank you to Joe, comma, statistically irrelevant, comma, but emotionally invested. Thank you to a blank line that I'm just going to say thank you, John. Thank you to Henry. If this is still here, it's because I forgot to write something new this week, The Wizard. It's not a penguin fact. I'm kind of disappointed.
Was he Penguin Facts guy?
He was Penguin fact guy.
Oh, that's cool.
And that is
Did
all
you know
our thank yous.
there's a penguin at the Edinburgh Zoo that has a knighthood from Norway, and he goes on parade and is allowed to walk in the crowd.
I love that there's a knighted penguin. That's great. It's my favorite thing I've ever heard. All right, Ennis.
I should do that again. All right, guys. If you are at an event this weekend, please do have the very best of luck. Unless you're at the Mama Wargaming weekend playing me, in which case I hope Lycus flips your home objective on turn 2. Say hello to my Super Hawks. Painting the wings of these things is driving me fucking nuts. Why did I do 15 of them at once? Holy shit! I'm glad they put 30 up in points. Otherwise, I'd have had to do 30. I hope everybody has a great time. Good luck at your tournaments. If you're at one and you see one of us, come and say hi. Otherwise, Nathan.
Bye-bye.